Okay, you guys, what is up? The Archie Senpai here today to review Naruto Chapter 600 and I think 70? Yeah, 670. So this chapter was basically it's not the introduction, but we finally actually see the Sage of Six Paths. And we see it after Naruto wakes up. Now, if you guys were thinking, oh man, are we gonna see Obito? No, I don't want to see Obito. No flashbacks for it. No worries. We saw Naruto in this pool-like area. It's actually kind of similar to when Naruto, whenever he wants to go talk to Kurama. So basically, when it comes to this chapter overall, the Sage of Six Paths looks really cool, but he's not. But when he talks about all this stuff, it's basically a lot of stuff that we already know. There's a couple of things that we didn't know, like some faces and some names. But overall, most of what the Sage of Six Paths was saying wasn't really that important because we already knew it. Now, granted, I'm not gonna blame the Sage of Six Paths because of what the information is telling me. Excuse me. I'm not gonna blame him because I mean he didn't know that Naruto already knew. And what I will say is that it is interesting to see some of these pictures. Like, if, for example, when it comes to uh Kaguya, something like that. The Sage of Six Paths mom, Hagamoro's mom. Why did she look like a rabbit? I was thinking that for a second. I was like, wait, why did she look like a rabbit? But he mentions how Kaguya wasn't really from this world. He was from another world. And what Naruto said, he said, is she an alien or something? I was like, wait, could that be possible? I don't know. I mean, his explanation was weird. Because I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait a second. She's from far, far away, like some kind of world or something? So is she an alien of some type? I don't know. But basically we get to see her. And we find out apparently that the Sage of Six Paths' two sons, the older brother was Indra, and the younger brother was Asura. Yeah, Ashura. Kind of like one of Zoro's techniques off of One Piece. And Ashura is described to be a lot like Naruto, in the sense that Ashura was a dude who didn't succeed in anything prior to his training. Because he flunked out basically, well, not in ninja school, because I don't think there was any ninja school, but basically whatever he did, he was really bad at. He was really bad. Kind of like how Naruto was at the beginning of the story. And Naruto hears this, and he's like, oh, because he can sympathize with that, and the fact that back in the Ninja Academy, Naruto sucked ass. Granted, he had the Kyuubi, but he didn't know it, nor could he control it at the time. And of course, the story follows forth. And basically, Ashura, despite the fact that he didn't really have the same power that his brother, a so-called genius, who had that kind of battle instinct, who was really talented, despite not having that kind of talent, there were two things that Ashura had that Indra didn't have. Number one was friends. According to the Sage of Six Paths, Ashura was a type of dude that got stronger because he wanted to protect his friends, meaning that his friends were his motivation. Now, he relates that to Naruto, but when you take a look back at the story, Naruto didn't actually gain friends until kind of after the Land of Waves arc. Yeah, Land of Waves arc. After that, he and Team Kakashi, they became more friendly enough so, of course, he gained more friends. But when Naruto got stronger, like every time Naruto got stronger, it wasn't really to protect his friends. It was to become the Hokage that he knew he could be. So that in that aspect, I mean, granted, the Sage of Six Paths doesn't really know, but of course, that's completely wrong. Of course, it's completely wrong for Naruto in the sense that he didn't get stronger. He didn't get stronger with his training because of his friends, at least not yet. He got stronger because he wanted to prove people wrong. But overall, when it comes to Ashura, the second thing that he had was that he intensely trained constantly to become strong enough to contest his brother's strength, to the point where he actually could go up against his brother and it was equal in power, despite the fact that his brother was a so-called genius and he had inherited the Sage of Six Paths eyes. And I remember, I think it was Toby, back when Obito was known as Toby, I explained how I believe that Ashura, the younger brother, he had inherited the body of the Sage of Six Paths, because the Sage of Six Paths is his dad. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, wait, but he inherited it, so why did he have to train? Because the Sage of Six Paths mentioned in this chapter, my son had to train to get to his older brother's level. So I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, wait, how does that make sense? Well, I thought about it for a little bit, and what I'm guessing is that even though he had the body, he still wasn't good at ninjutsu, or whatever it's called, ninjutsu, the techniques before ninjutsu. And even though he had the body, even though he had that kind of body, he had to intensely train constantly in order to get stronger. So I guess that's what it meant. I don't know. I don't know. Now, other than that, there's another thing that the Sage of Paths mentions that I'm kind of curious about. Apparently, Hagomoro, the Sage of Paths, had a brother. And the brother and Hagomoro fought against the Jubi. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, wait a second. Okay, so who's his brother? But immediately after that, Hagomoro doesn't even mention his brother anymore. And I believe in the chapter, he mentions how Hagomoro had sealed away the ten tails within half the ten tails within his body, and then Hagomoro took the other half. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, wait a second, so does that mean that the Jubi that Madara has now is only half? But that wouldn't make any sense, right? So what I'm thinking is that at some point, Hagomoro's brother may have died, and I think, when you die, when the host of the Jubi dies, or any Biju for that matter, the Biju can still be reincarnated and come back to life again, even though the host may die forever. So that may have happened, or maybe at some point the half of the Jubi may have been extracted from the other brother and then infused with Hagomoro or something like that. I don't know. But it's curious because up until this point, we never actually thought that Hagomoro had a brother. That was never mentioned. And I think it's kind of interesting how when you see Hagomoro's brother in the flashback fighting against the Jubi, he looks kind of like Madara from the back. Madara in his sage form, not Madara in his not normal base Madara, but Madara in his sage form. Except for the fact that his staff is kind of like a spear. It's like a halberd sometimes. I think it's a spear instead of Madara's staff. It's a spear when it comes to Hagomoro's brother. But he looks kind of like Madara from the back. I think that's what it is. Yeah, I just noticed. So he mentions Kaguya, and Naruto before that actually mentions how, oh, you're the guy that created Ninjutsu. And I'm like, Naruto, and of course the Sage Path says, no, I didn't create Ninjutsu. Ninjutsu was technically created by my mom. I created Ninjutsu to uphold peace. And what I can say is that despite Hagomoro's best wishes, despite him actually creating this type of techniques to uphold peace, it still led to more conflict because afterwards the humans learned how to weaponize their chakra and to make it more, effective as armaments of some type. I don't know. So I respect Hagomoro in the sense that he did try, but he still kind of failed. Excuse me, I don't know what's wrong. But a couple other things he mentioned in this chapter. When Naruto first learned about Ashura and how Ashura was this kind of dropout kid, Naruto kind of mentioned, well, wait a second, he's your son. You're the Sage of the Six Paths. Shouldn't be he as strong as you? And I like what Hagomoro says, because Hagomoro mentions how, despite the fact that I am as powerful as I am, it doesn't necessarily mean that my son would inherit the same genes. Which is true for Naruto, because despite the fact that his mother was the second Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, and his father being the fourth Hokage, despite them being fairly powerful, Naruto wasn't at all powerful at that time. He inherited the Uzumaki DNA and got really strong chakra, but he didn't really have that kind of genes to properly wield it. So I like how, despite the fact that Ashura is a dropout, it has nothing to do with genes at all. So I think that's pretty damn interesting. And basically, the chapter ends off with Kagomuro mentioning that Naruto is the reincarnation of Ashura, the Sage of Six Paths son, Kagomuro. That's Kagomuro on the Sage of Six Paths. I don't know which one I'm gonna call him. I'm probably gonna call him Kagomuro if I can pronounce it correctly. So, and I mean, we already knew that, and if you can see that in Naruto, that he is Ashura's reincarnation, then it's pretty damn obvious that Sasuke is the reincarnation of Indra, the older brother, which is true. So, I mean, well, it's not true, but you can safely assume that. So, overall, this chapter, I'm gonna give it an OK plus rating. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it's not that I'm mad at the fact that I didn't see 8 gates. It's because despite the fact that we saw the Sages pass, most of what he said was stuff we already knew. And that's a problem. Despite hearing about his brother, seeing full pictures of his mom, full pictures of Indra and Ashura, basically there was most of the stuff that we already knew. Yeah, especially the reincarnation part. Yeah, pretty much. And you can assume for a fact that Hashirama and Madara are also could have been reincarnation before they died, of course, are probably reincarnations of Indra and Ashura themselves, because technically that's where the Uchiha and the Senju faced off. So I'm gonna give this OK plus rating. The pacing was it's alright. It's not that bad. Yeah, okay, so OK plus. Like the video if you like it. Dislike it if you don't. Rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. One Piece review next. Yeah, I'm OJ Senpai, and I'm out. Peace.